On today's show, VW offers generous incentives to get old diesels off European roads. Turbochargers are taking over engines, and a look at PSA's unique approach to mobility services. All that and more coming right up on Autoline Daily. This is Autoline Daily, the show for enthusiasts of the automotive industry. Last week, the German government announced it will accept software updates to fix diesel engines in an effort to reduce pollution. And to help clear more old diesels off European roads, the Volkswagen Group is offering big incentives for trade-ins. Both VW and Audi are offering rebates up to 10,000 euros, or about $12,000, for owners with diesels that meet Euro 1 to 4 standards. Porsche is offering up to 5,000 euros. In addition to that, the company is offering extra incentives between 1,000 and 2,400 euros towards the purchase of an electrified or CNG-powered vehicle. The incentives are available until the end of the year. Daimler and BMW have also announced similar programs, but aren't offering as much as the VW Group. Last month, we reported about Toyota's involvement in a project to power fuel cell forklifts through a renewable hydrogen supply chain. And now the company is looking at other ways to promote the use of fuel cells. It's teamed up with 7-Eleven to study the use of fuel cell-powered delivery trucks and a hydrogen generator to power stores. The truck and its refrigerator and freezer unit will be powered by Toyota's fuel cell system. In addition to testing the hydrogen generator, the companies will also install a stationary rechargeable battery system which uses rechargeable car batteries at stores. I don't know about you, but a Slurpee made from hydrogen power sounds pretty good right now. Well, turbochargers are taking over engines in the U.S. The surge in popularity began in 2011 when turbo engines were installed in a record high 10.7% of light vehicles. In 2016, that number grew significantly to 24.1%. And now, just through March of this year, 27.6% of engines built were turbocharged. Their newfound popularity is thanks chiefly to rapidly shrinking engines. And as engines continue to drop cylinders and displacement gets even smaller, we can expect to see more turbos. We'll be back with more right after this.
Autoline Daily is brought to you by Bridgestone Tires, your journey, our passion. Dow Automotive Systems, advanced materials that deliver better results. And by Lear, a global leader in automotive seating and electrical systems.
Well, if someone wants to get their hands on a Jeep Grand Cherokee with the Hellcat engine stuffed under the hood, it's going to cost them $87,000, including destination charges. That's about $19,000 more than an SRT Grand Cherokee, and as some are making a big deal out of, $1,000 more than a Demon. But it's really not that big of a difference between what it costs to go from an SRT Charger or Challenger to a Hellcat. It's a $14,000 difference from an SRT Challenger to a Challenger Hellcat, and a $16,500 gap for the Charger. What this really shows is that FCA is able to charge a boatload of cash for an engine people just can't seem to get enough of. If you didn't know it, there's a shortage of qualified technicians to work on today's vehicles. And as they get even more complicated, it's going to shrink that number even further. That's why automakers like Mercedes-Benz are offering new apprenticeship programs to get people interested in the field. Its 16-week training program will take place at authorized Mercedes-Benz dealerships and will cover all the basics of automotive repair, but will also focus on the fields of telematics, e-mobility, diagnostic strategy, and electrical fundamentals. It really shows how fast the automotive repair world is changing. It takes a ton of time and effort to become good at understanding today's vehicles, and it's never ending. In my opinion, it's damn near what it takes to become an engineer. And I'd be willing to bet a master certified Mercedes-Benz technician makes engineer-level money. Coming up next, a look at Peugeot's unique mobility company.
Bridgestone engineers are helping Larry Fitzgerald go long. Bridgestone's dual Relenza Plus is engineered to go 80,000 miles.
I love anything that goes long. Long hair, long passes, long dogs.
We're gonna do this for 80,000 miles? Or?
Long hugs, long weekends.
Whether it's on television, online, or through social media, Autoline knows how to effectively get your marketing message to the people you want to reach. Contact Stacy Eman today.
Last year, PSA, the parent company of Peugeot and Citroën, announced plans to return to the U.S. However, to begin with, the company won't sell its vehicles to consumers. Instead, it will operate as a mobility company using the brand name Free to Move. On last week's Autoline After Hours, we were joined by Larry Dominique, the head of PSA North America, and he explained the unique approach the company is taking towards mobility services.
You can log on to our application, and in one app, you can access Zipcar, ReachNow, Car2Go, Turo. So if you're in Berlin, if you're in Paris, you can see and book any one of those mobility providers' vehicles from our application.
Are they all PSA vehicles that you can get?
Absolutely not.
Very interesting. That's pretty bold for a car company to do.
So what's the advantage? I mean, it would seem to me, I imagine that basically what you're talking about is that you would have a whole bunch of whatever brand you're going to be bringing, that John or I would be able to go to our app and get one of those cars. But you're suggesting that this is going to be open?
Multi-branded. And there's really two pieces to this, and I'll circle back on how we're approaching multi-brand in Europe right now. But on the aggregation platform, Gary, think of it this way. How many cars would we need to have in operation in a city to make sure you have a vehicle available to you as close as you are? If we can access the vehicles that Car2Go puts in the fleet, and ReachNow puts in the fleet, and Maven puts in the fleet, or whoever the provider might be, allows us to make sure we're introducing you to a car as a service. Because the reality is, a lot of times when you talk to consumers that are advocates of car sharing, for the most part, they don't really care what the brand is. What they care about is, will the vehicle get me from point A to point B? I mean, I go to Paris a lot, and I sit there and I look at some of these vehicles that are offered in mobility car sharing. And there's one restaurant I like, sits right in front of one of these stations with 5 of these cars in front of it. And I've literally walked over and talked to the people and said, okay, you're gonna use this car. Who makes this car? And they're like, I have no idea. Does it have 4 doors? Does it hold 4 people? I mean, they wanna know it's the right hardware to get them to point A to point B. But these customers are not the ones that are passionate about the product. They're not the ones who are passionate about the brand that they're buying. They're not buying a car, they're buying a service or renting a service. So being multi-branded in that case to us is agnostic.
You can watch that entire show right now on Autoline.tv, or you can find it on our YouTube channel. Speaking of After Hours, there isn't a new show this week, but John and Gary will be back next week for some of the best insider discussions in the automotive industry. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. Please join us again tomorrow.